Hi, it's Darren. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2022. I'm shooting this actually on New Year's Eve, so my final video for 2021, unless I take Charlie for a walk later today. And I wanted to just take a few minutes and go back over a few things that I think we've learned from 2021 and how that I think tees us up for 2022. First thing is I'm shooting this in this little new YouTube studio that I built over the holiday, and that's part of what we want to be doing a bit more of in 2022. But first of all, let's go back over last year. I think last year was obviously a very strange year. I think we entered it with a hope that vaccines and things would move us out of the lockdowns and the pandemic. And unfortunately, we're still dealing with it, right? We've all got Omicron. Hopefully, you didn't get Omicron for Christmas, although I'm fairly certain we're all going to get it at some point here at the rate that it's going. I think we're also optimistic from some of the data we're seeing globally that this thing will burn itself out in the next few weeks. And by spring, fingers crossed, we can have a bit of a reopening. But I think the real message, or the lesson, if you will, that we should have all learned over the last almost 2 years of dealing with this is one of resiliency. Right? I think we've all had to adapt and deal with this in our own way. It's interesting how we've all gone through the same experience, but we've all experienced it in a different way. And I think, as I say, hopefully the lesson all of us have learned is how to be more resilient and power our way through this despite the challenges. Last year was a very curious one in investments. There was lots of dumb stuff that I saw in the market, some of which people got rewarded for. And I'll apologize again for not putting all of your money into Bitcoin and Tesla and some other things, but this isn't a casino, so I didn't find the lucky slot machine handle. But I think our portfolios did really well. We actually had across the board one of the best years in a long time, and I think that really validates the investment process we have. You know, we stuck to our knitting, we stuck to quality, we made sure we maintained diversification, we balanced risk really well, and I think most of you are pretty happy with how the year turned out in terms of investment performance. I also think we're teed up really well for what's coming next. I've talked quite a bit in the past about inflation, how that I really think is going to be the defining characteristic going forward, but that's actually in a way good for us. Not that inflation's good, but what's kind of baked in the cake, if you will, part of my DNA as an advisor, and this is my 30th year now while doing this. I know you're looking, how's that possible? But one of the things I've always focused on is, you know, for most of you, and for some of you still, the plan is how do we grow your capital? How do we get you to having a comfortable retirement? But for those of you that are retired, you know this now, is retirement is really about how do you stay comfortably retired? And some of that work that we do to build our capability and our horsepower is understanding longevity and the new challenges that are going to be coming ahead of you. And we have to be already prepared for those before you get there, which is why I spend time talking to Dr. Joe Coughlin at the Age Lab at MIT. And fingers crossed, these travel restrictions and things like that ease up, so I'll be comfortable taking a visit down to see him and the folks at MIT and getting reconnected face to face with them. And in terms of the way we build our portfolios, I've always thought about how do we build them not just to grow capital, but really to grow income. And I've been quoted a few times in the Globe and Mail and other places saying, look, this isn't really about protecting a dollar. It's about protecting what a dollar buys. It's a very different philosophical construct. And now it's interesting how, to me, the reporters and the politicians are now finally realizing that inflation might become a problem, especially after they spend globally, central bankers and government, something on the order of $20 trillion just in the last year and a half or so to get us through this pandemic. So inflation's going to come hard. I think that's going to be the defining characteristic of what the next decade is going to be like. So we've already built our portfolios with that kind of view in mind. So as I say, I think we're teed up well to deal with those challenges, and they're going to be big ones. But we're going to deal with them as best we can. We've had some awards in 2021, which were nice to get. You know, we were recognized again as being in Chairman's Council within Raymond James. Actually, this year we placed in the top 5, which was great. Traditionally, that qualifies us for something called Global Top 50. We'll see if they do it this year because there's no travel or anything like that coming up. We got a nice industry award. The one you would have seen, the public one, is from the Globe and Mail. So this year they partnered with Shook Research, which does advisor rankings for Forbes magazine in the United States. And they took a shot at ranking advisors in Canada. And I was really quite positively surprised and pleased that we made the list. So that was great. So I guess I got my Grammy Award or Golden Globe or whatever these things would be the equivalent of. But that was really nice to get those. But I don't really seek those out, right? It was nice to get one, but I'm far more concerned with how you feel about how we're doing. Did we win an award from your perspective on how we did? One of the things I'm going to ask you for in 2022, and many of you have already been very generous about sharing your feedback, don't just let us know, like we get thanks about how we do things, but I'm much more interested in what we can do better. How do we keep improving? How do we keep moving forward with you? So please, if you think we can do some things better or try some other, let me know. I would love to be able to keep experimenting. And I want to thank you also for giving us room to experiment on how we do things and trying things, even like this YouTube and Walking with Charlie. Those were all experiments, and thank you for giving us room to do that. I'm not from the future. I won't get them all right, but I'm glad that we keep getting the room from you to be able to keep trying new things. So we're going to keep trying to innovate and grow and learn and adapt and just try to get better. So thank you for that, and please give us your feedback on how we can do more of that in 2022. Looking ahead for the new year, it's going to be a challenge for us, obviously, because as you know, Andrea won't be with us anymore. She's decided to take on some more projects, spend some more time with her family. And the one project we really think is pretty neat is she's going to be a professor. She's going to be actually teaching the personal financial planning course at Schulich University, or Schulich School of Business at York University. Sorry, let me get those right. And she's taking over for Dr. Moshe Milevsky as she teaches the personal financial planning course to the senior students. Now, you don't know who Dr. Moshe Milevsky is, or you probably don't, but we in my business certainly do. So he's the finance professor who's written the textbooks on the mathematics and science of retirement. He speaks at lots of conferences, very well regarded. So a real kudos to Andrea for being able to walk into his shoes. And they're big shoes for her to fill, but we're all pretty confident she's going to be fantastic at it. And for us, it means we have to find a new person to join the team. So I'm going to take my time. We've already got our eye on a few people that we're chatting with. But we're going to be slow. Well, I shouldn't say slow. We're going to be cautious. We're going to be careful because getting the right fit is always tricky, And Andrea, when she joined the team, she came with a lot of skill, a lot of experience, and also a lot of headroom to keep growing, to keep learning and do the things that we do them. Because in our industry, we do things that are very different than most advisors and most planners. And we've been able to lead and have other people follow our lead. So having someone join the team that comes already with a lot of horsepower, but can continue to grow and adapt and do it the way we do it, and with the special charm, especially, thinking about Andrea, she brought a real emotional intelligence to how we do things. And I'm hopeful that we can find someone that can keep bringing that and help make all of us better. So we'll take our time. In the meantime, I'm happy to say that the team is all here. We've got the ball. Vicky's got all the files. I've got Neil putting his CFP hat back on to help in the background. Nick has just passed a course where he now has his Chartered Investment Manager. I think that's what it's called. I have the same thing. It's called the CIM. And that is a very tough designation to get in Canada. And what it does is it tees him up to become an associate portfolio manager and help me with some of the models and portfolios and build our bench strength on our team. So really pleased. So congratulations, Nick. I know Pedro and Katie, everybody has work that they're doing to just keep sharpening their saw, keep their skills going up. So I could put a bunch of designations behind me, but those things don't matter from your perspective. You just have to know that we know what we're doing, and I'm confident to say that we keep trying to learn more and do more. So the team is moving forward. I'm also embracing this as a challenge and as an opportunity to change some of our functions around. So Katie's going to be adding more to her desk. Nick's going to take on more functions. Pedro, believe it or not, can do some more stuff. Neil and Vicky, everyone's going to be doing a little more, and it gives us a chance to refresh and put some more on people's desks to let them also grow. So this is actually a pretty exciting time for us to kind of go back and kind of work on the Formula One car and see if we can make it go even faster. I also want to talk a little bit about what I want for you for 2022 and what I want for all of us. And that's, I really want to enter the new year with positivity. I know it's tough when we're getting news every day that is challenging, and we've all had to face our own unique ways of handling the last year and a half. But I want to enter 2022 with the view that this is probably on its way to being over, right? So I'm going to be very optimistic about that. And I want you to really think about making your plans, even if they're in pencil, right? Because resiliency, even if they're in pencil, let's go back to what's life going to be like? What are we going to do in the summer? What are we going to do in the fall? Where do we want to go? Who do we want to see? Who do we want to hug? How do we burst our bubbles? And maybe we can get rid of masks. And we can think, what's life like as we really all begin living it again, right? And I'm really hopeful that 2022 is the year where we all really get to do that and open our doors and open our windows and open our hearts and get back to what we all want to do, which is to live and enjoy. And so with that, I'm going to wish you a happy new year, a safe new year, a positive new year, a successful new year, and a fun one, okay? Have a great day. Take care.